All right, what's going on, guys? I had a lot of good feedback about putting my smoked crab legs on, making a little video, and I've had some requests to put on some more things that I do just as a hobby here, not like I'm a pit master like Meyer Mixon or Johnny Trigg, but I like to have fun with it. Today I'm going to kind of show you how I do my lollipop chicken legs and my bone-in chicken thighs, and I'm going to show you a good way where you can get a nice crispy bite through skin like you see the guys on TV. It's a little bit of work, but start off with the lollipops. Get a chicken leg, grab it around to where the meat goes, then the leg comes up, and then with a sharp knife, you just want to cut down around. There's a little tendon in here. You may make sure you cut through. You might have to cut some of them off, but it's really simple to make, and the kids really like it. It's a fun thing to do with a cookout and all that, really looking for all this craziness to be over to get back into cooking for a lot of people. But as you see, as you cut that off, you expose the whole bone. You can get your finger underneath there, or a nice little paring knife to cut up on there and rip off this extra skin. I use, you know, some kitchen shears or whatnot, and more or less that's what you have is your lollipop. You know, you can clean the bone up a little bit better and things like that, and then use your spices. You know, I am a big fan of, got to give a shout out to my Uncle Tom Jelinski. He runs Henny Penny. They give me a lot of good spices I use on my food, and along also with some Three Little Pig Kansas City rub, and you kind of just sprinkle that on there, whatever you like, whatever kind of chicken rub you like, you know, suit your taste. And then kind of pull that back down the skin, make a little lollipop, and then you would just, you know, reskin it. I mean, reapply some more rub, and more or less once they're done, they look something like this. Like I said, the kids have a lot of fun with it, and you can do what you want. The biggest thing is, before you put them on the smoker, you want to make sure that you put some aluminum foil over that bone there, so it doesn't char up and burn up, and it looks more presentable, and the little kids are going to want to eat them when you take them off the smoker. Then actually, see, I got about 4 of them prepared here, my bone-in chicken thighs. What you want to do is you start off with these, is you want to take all the skin and you want to rip it completely off. And you'll see there's a lot of fat underneath this skin here, so you want to get that with a nice fillet knife or a sharp knife and cut all that fat off of this chicken skin so it's almost see-through. And then you want to trim up your chicken thigh. You want to cut off the fat, and the biggest thing here is getting them in a symmetrical shape. You got the fat down the side. Just give that a little trim. And then underneath this little knuckle, the bone, there's a little vein here. You kind of snip that off in there with the knife or the scissors, and then get up here and you want to cut this little knuckle out. It's going to give you a nice little way to bite when you come through these and don't have to worry about hitting any bone. So with a shear, just go ahead and cut that off, discard all of that. And then again, if this was competition, you know, they like to be a symmetrical shape, so you want to try and trim this up a little bit best that you can, and then work on your skin. Now, I'm not going to do this. My knife skills are not really that good, but I do have one that's already here, and you can see you have the skin. It's all cleaned off. You can almost see through that skin. I put a little bit of the Tony's Creole. It's got a lot of salt to help that skin crisp up, and more or less just lay it over the top and fold it up underneath, and again get that chicken skin all around so it'll hold on there when you put it on the smoker. Again, this isn't for some competition. This is my own little backyard barbecue, but like I said, I had some people that wanted to, you know, ask me to do some videos, and what I do, I put a little more seasoning on top of these here, like I said, whatever you like. And then when I throw them on the smoker, I usually put them on there at about 250 to 275. With chicken, I like to use some pecan, apple, or cherry wood, maybe a little mixture, whatever your taste you like. And you keep them on there until they hit about 165 or so internal temperature. And later on, we'll do a little bit of it on the grill, and I'll show you how I sauce and glaze these babies before I take them off. So again, boneless or bone-in chicken thighs, and we're doing some chicken leg lollipops on the grill. And hope you come back and see a little more, and we'll show you how we do it on the grill a little later. We're going to start off with making my sauce, and I use this to make my glaze and everything like that. I started with about a half can of beer, whatever beer that you like. Another secret is about a shot or so of bourbon. You can put a little more to taste, whatever you like. I usually use a little airplane bottle or a shot. The next, you kind of want to bring this up so you can get the dry ingredients to dissolve in there. But mostly it's about 2 cups of ketchup and about 2/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. I also add in, I don't know, about a tablespoon or so of honey. Put that in there. So a couple of dashes of Worcestershire sauce here. Worcestershire. Again, this is to your liking. I do about a tablespoon here or so. Get that going. And again, maple syrup. Same thing, about 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. Real maple syrup, not no Mrs. Butterworth, please. Pure maple syrup. And you put that in. I like to have all the wet ingredients in first. That way I got a base to mix in the dry. I'll go ahead and add the 2/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. And then I have in here all the dry rubs here, or the spices. I got 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of garlic, a tablespoon and a half of salt and pepper, and 2 tablespoons of paprika. And also, I almost forgot, about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We put all that in there. Get this going, and again, we want to get this heated up a little bit to help the spices dry so they don't, or mix in, so they'll dissolve and not just stick to the side of the pot. So we'll go ahead and add this in. I'll stir it in a little bit at a time in the beer, the vinegar, and all that. You get it going while it dissolves. And again, the beer, it's optional. If you don't like to put the beer in there, don't. It's just something I do along with the bourbon. If you don't want any alcohol, that's also fine. I just think it gives it a little bit of more flavor. But again, it's 2 tablespoons of garlic, 2 tablespoons of onion powder, a tablespoon and a half of salt and pepper, 2 tablespoons of paprika, and a 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. About a tablespoon or so of honey, 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup, a couple splashes of the Worcestershire, and your dry rubs. Mix that all in. I use all ketchup. Some people like to maybe make it a little thicker, and instead of using 2 cups, you can use like a cup and a half of this, and then like 6 ounces of tomato paste if you like. Right now, I just use all ketchup, and as this is stirring in, it's starting to heat up pretty nicely. I'll go ahead and mix the ketchup in. And this is obviously like a Memphis or a Kansas City, not a Memphis, but a Kansas City style ketchup-based, tomato-based barbecue sauce. I'm making this for the kids. This is the home sauce that we use almost every day on everything. So I didn't put a lot of hot pepper sauce or anything like that, but if you wanted to give it a little heat, you can put a little Tabasco, a little Sriracha. If you wanted to put a little chili powder in there to kick up the heat, you're more than welcome to do that too. Like I said, this is just what I use, courtesy. I got a lot of this from Myron Mixon. I do got to give Myron a lot of credit because I did follow half of his recipe and just added my own stuff like the alcohol and things like that into it. But this is my sauce. We'll let this boil down. Simmer, I should say. You don't want it to bring to a boil. I store mine in mason jars. It'll last for up to a year in the fridge, but basically this usually only lasts me about 2 weeks in my house. But just what I do with my sauce. Later I'll show you how I make the glaze that we're going to put on with the chicken thighs and the lollipops. All right, we got these on. I just checked them. I got the lollipops, the 4 bone-in chicken thighs on. We got them on now at about 275. They've been on for about 30 minutes. Another 45 minutes. We'll check the internal temperature, and then we'll get ready to put some of my glaze. We'll put them back on and bump the temperature up to about 325 so it can kind of caramelize on there, and they'll be ready to go. All right, now we check the temperature. It's at about 165. Now we're going to glaze. We'll dip your thigh. I like to do it like this. I don't like to put a brush. Makes it look a little more prettier. You don't get the brush marks on here. This is just my barbecue sauce, and I put a little extra vinegar and some butter and some more brown sugar in here. Kind of sweeten it up, make it a little thicker glaze for my thighs and for the 2 lollipops that I'm making for the younger one. But yeah, just go in, dip, get the glaze all around, flip them over. And like I said, I like using the tongs here instead of the brush, because you don't get the brush marks on there when you go for a little appearance. So we'll put these on. I'll bump the temperature up to about 300, 315 or so. And they'll stay on here for about another 15 minutes. Get this glaze nice and caramelized on there, and then it'll be ready to eat. Now it's time to take these bad boys. Look at the beautiful glaze, the color, little caramelization on those puppies. We got your thighs. Take these puppies off right about now. Let them set for a couple of minutes. And it's going to be time to eat. Bon appetit. How are those lollipops? Good? Good lollipop? All right, let's give the thigh a test here. Let's see if we can get that good bite through skin on the thigh. Not bad. A little tug to it, but we're getting there. Got a little tug on the skin, but was able to get all the way through. Chicken, I think, is cooked perfectly. Got some good flavor. Got a little bite on the back end from the Tony Creole seasoning on the back of the skin. But this is our first try. Hopefully me and the boys will make a few more videos, put them out there, and have a little bit of fun. Talk to you later. Hope you enjoy.
Peace.